Oh, this is fantastic. To be the featured nation this year is wonderful for us. But to see so many people here enjoying our common Celtic heritage, it's just wonderful to see.
You say in the press that you wish an euro region, Brittany, Wales, and how is it possible with the Brexit?
Well, in principle, we very much support it, but there's a lot of detail to be examined before we can take the concept of the Euro region forward. There are cross-border funding schemes that will need to be looked at. So, in principle, we want to work on it, but there's a lot of work to do.
What do you mean is the Brexit is not going to affect the relationship between Brittany and Wales?
No, I mean, in terms of the relationship between the UK and the EU and how that affects us, there's bound to be some effect. But as far as I'm concerned, I want to continue working with the regional council here in Brittany and strengthen those links that we've already built.
What about economics? Do we have strong economical links between Brittany and Wales, or is something we have to build in the future?
No, not particularly strong at the moment, but we're looking to build them in areas like cybersecurity, renewable energy, and of course looking to build links in higher education and universities. So the cultural link has always been there, but the economic link obviously is something to work on.
Concerning the languages, you mentioned today that the Breton language is where the Welsh language was 50 years ago. Can you elaborate a little bit on this?
Well, a generation of people who didn't pass the language on to their children. I mean, we still had a large number of speakers, so we weren't, losing speakers at the rate that Breton has. But what we've seen is a growth in people sending their children to schools where Welsh is the language of instruction. So some 30% of children in Cardiff, our capital city, which was never a Welsh-speaking city, they are educated through the medium of Welsh. About 22% of our young people, they are examined through the medium of Welsh. So we've seen a big growth in the education system in promoting the Welsh language.
You wish 1 million Welsh speaker in 2050?
Yes, we last had 1 million speakers in the 1930s, and we now have 550,000. The challenge is to encourage more young people to go to schools where Welsh is taught in such a way that they become fluent. And secondly, of course, to make sure they don't lose it when they leave school. Unless they live in a community where Welsh is spoken around them, and we still have those communities, then the tendency is to lose the language if it's not used. So helping people to retain the language is important as well.
Does the Welsh people, can they speak Welsh in court or in public administration?
Yeah, it's all bilingual. All our laws are drafted in Welsh and English. Our Parliament, you can speak in Welsh or English. There's simultaneous translation. All the public sector is bilingual. So it's quite natural to use either language.
Last question on politics. Is there a strong support in Wales for a political status of Wales similar to Scotland?
What, in terms of independence, you mean?
No. Just more autonomy, a parliament with more rights to customize the laws.
Well, the only area where the Scots have got powers that we haven't got is in the area of justice. Justice, police, prisons, which we think we should have. Everything else is more or less the same now. I mean, we have the ability, if you look at health and education, for example, we're completely autonomous. We run our education system, our qualification system. So there's not much difference now between Wales and Scotland in terms of powers apart from the area of justice.
That's all?
Yeah, pretty much. They've got some taxation powers that go beyond ours, but in terms of legal powers, apart from justice, it's the same.
Thank you very much.
Okay.